Hello and welcome to the Wednesday, July 29th, 2026 edition of the SANS Internet Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich, recording today from Jacksonville, Florida. And this episode is brought to you by the SANS.edu undergraduate certificate program in Applied Cybersecurity. Well, and AutoIT is back. Not sure if it ever left, but Xavier found an AutoIT sample that actually sort of has a new trick up its sleeve. Xavier noticed a large number of emails that's of these fake bank emails that they claim to have some kind of statement, account details or so attached. That's a RAR file. Now, once unpacked, and then it turns out that there is several levels of PowerShell obfuscation to go through in this particular script. But what you end up with in the end is a PowerShell script that is interesting because it will actually inject shellcode into a binary. The binary that's being used here is charmap.exe. If you're not familiar with Windows, it's like the little sort of keyboard picker that you have as an option to basically select some of the less used characters if you ever would like to type them. Now, it launches charmap.exe and then injects the malicious shellcode in it, basically sort of using it as a vessel to hide the malicious activity. Interesting kind of strategy, and of course we have seen similar sort of shellcode injections in different tools before, but using scripting language like AutoIT for it. And to me at least, the use of charmap.exe is also kind of unique here. And probably they're using this tool because it's not that often used, but also does not necessarily raise a suspicion if it's running on a system. And Apple yesterday did its usual update of everything, and with this did again patch multiple security vulnerabilities, close to 200 if you sort of count across the different operating systems. There are updates now for iOS, macOS, iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS, essentially anything Apple publishes. So we are now up to iOS and macOS version 26.6, and we also got updates for macOS 14 and 15. The vulnerabilities themselves are not very remarkable. It's sort of the usual mix that we get from Apple. What's sort of interesting is that there's actually no zero date this time, nothing that is already being exploited. The number is a little bit higher than what we have seen sort of in prior similar releases. Also, remember that was a few weeks ago, sort of a just security release without any functional updates that was sort of released to patch more vulnerabilities. There's certainly a little bit an impact here of sort of not AI reported vulnerabilities, but overall it's not as drastic as we have seen it from other companies like Microsoft or Oracle lately. Maybe Apple is a little bit still behind here in sort of picking up on the AI stuff, or maybe some of the minor vulnerabilities were not included here. Can't really tell from the release. As usual, the descriptions are very short. And Confiant, a company that is dealing with intelligence and information around advertising risks, so malvertising and like, has published a blog post with an interesting piece of malware that they're calling SourTrade. Now, where SourTrade is different is how it actually creates the malware on the victim's system. It starts out with the usual, it's malvertising. In particular, crypto traders are being targeted here, not with the usual crypto scams, but instead with malware. When the malware starts to get downloaded, it first downloads a configuration file. This configuration file does actually install or deliver a unique seed that's then being used to create a pseudo-random stream of bytes that is then being used to decrypt the malware as it's being pulled from various servers and then assembled in the client. Now, with this particular technology, the attacker is able to essentially deliver a unique byte stream to every victim. And that, of course, makes it more difficult to detect this attack on the network. And also, since it's assembled then in the browser on the endpoint. That makes it a bit more difficult for any endpoint protection products to intercept the malware before it's being executed. Overall, interesting and fairly complex scheme. I wonder if maybe it's a little bit too fragile and how well this all works. But if you're into malware analysis, definitely something to look at in case you're running into some variation of this particular system in your environment. And researchers from Application Security Lab Depth First have created a proof of concept exploit for an NGINX vulnerability that was patched around the 15th. I think I mentioned it back then because it's a remote code execution vulnerability. It is a heap-based buffer overflow, so there was some idea that address space layout randomization may prevent effective exploitation. Well, this proof of concept exploit does work around address space layout randomization, so it is a reliable exploit for this vulnerability, even on most larger servers and the like that often do employ this defensive mechanism. So it's not just one of those IoT vulnerabilities as was originally sort of proposed. Interesting to have a proof of concept that soon, in particular, one that's as complete as this one. So definitely make sure that you're patching NGINX as quickly as possible if you haven't done that yet. Well, and this is it for today. So thanks for listening. Thanks for liking. Thanks for recommending this podcast. And thanks for subscribing to it. And talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.